Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Clem in the top left side of the map, the Terran that is on fire recently. This is his match from the ESL Winter Quarterfinals. That's right, the round of 8 playoff stage, best of 5, played in Atlanta just recently, this last weekend. Down in the bottom right side, the red Zerg player facing him, a massive test. It is Solar. Now, Maru was already eliminated from the tournament at this point, and that was, of course, unfortunate for him, but it was very fortunate for Solar. Because guess what? Solar would be a many-time champion if it was not for Maru. Especially when it comes to international tournaments, Solar has lost to his teammate Maru on Onside Gaming more times than I can count. But Maru got eliminated recently very early in the final season of GSL for 2023, and then Solar dominated that season and looked unstoppable. And once again, he finds himself in the top 8 of a tournament where normally Solar, usually in the round of 8, runs into Maru. The number of times they played in quarterfinals is crazy. And for once, he doesn't have to deal with Maru. And Maru kind of bigger brothers Solar. I've said for a long time, Solar is, at certain points of the game, more solid than Maru. There are times where he runs away and gets way ahead of Maru. But Maru always has a psychological edge over him, where Maru understands Solar inside and out and seems to get away with just cutting corners at the right time, surprising him with attacks at the right time. And it feels like Maru's always capable of making comebacks versus Solar, whereas Solar is, struggles to finish off Maru when he has the advantage. There's just that weird dynamic where you play against someone for years, your practice partners, your friends, and the other guy just always seems to get the better of you. And it seems like whether it affects your confidence or you lose some killer instinct, I don't know exactly what it is, but I've had it myself back as a player, where there were certain players that would always beat me, and it would almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy because I'd be so aware of the fact that this player always kicks my butt, and I just could not figure out how to beat them. And the thing is, you'd look at the games, and it wouldn't be like when you're playing any other player, because you'd be like, well, why did he do this? This doesn't make any sense. And you'd be so surprised by these moves they would never do versus anyone else. And you'd ask them after the series, you'd go, well done, man, you kicked my ass. But hey, tell me, what were you doing when you did that really weird Hellbat timing? And they'll be like, oh, I honestly got supply blocked and I made a mistake, so I figured I'm just going to do a random all-in. And I got lucky and it worked. And you're like, you're there trying to put intention into all their actions, and you're thinking about, oh, he's trying to plan this to catch me off guard and all this 300 IQ stuff. But there's just this intuitive confidence the other player has while you're there. Oh, nice snipe. Gets a Ling and a creep trimmer. Very well done for Clem. Yeah, it turns out in those scenarios, your opponent simply is confident. And there's an almost subconscious decision-making happening for them. Whereas you're there kind of doubting yourself and overthinking things. And that's where getting loose in a StarCraft game comes into play. It's where really just having a sort of innate confidence can be massive. Now, obviously, we've talked a lot about Solar and how he doesn't have that against Maru. I think Solar is very confident against Clem. He is one of the best, if not the best, just purely defensive macro Zerg and Zerg versus Terran. I know Cyril's up there as well, but let's be honest, guys. Part of what makes Cyril so scary in a macro game is his unpredictability. Solar is not that unpredictable. One game in a best of 5, he will mix in an all-in, but it's just that. Whereas Cyril mixes up his openings. Bam, weird 2-base Roach push. Wham, bam, 2-base Mutalisk. Roaches into Banelings, quick Infestors and Ultras and Lings. Cyril has this massive range of build orders to throw off players like Clem. Solar doesn't. So Solar is a player who just relies on, I'm just going to fight you with the sickest defensive macro of all time. I'm going to take punch to the face after punch to the face, absorb it, get to Hive Tech, and roll you over. He's been playing this style for years. He does not care that his opponents expect him to do it. He will simply try to take you down in the macro game. I think many would argue that plays to Clem's favor because Clem is himself the player who would love to just macro up and play a multitasking mid-game. I do think, though, it really hinges on Clem getting damage between the 7 to 10 minute window. If Clem doesn't get significant damage there, Solar will outpace him in the Hive Tech game, the late game. Maybe if Clem sets enough advantage for himself up in the 7 to 10 minute mark, he'll be okay. For now, the Hellions are over there on that side. Overlord comes into the main base, third command center coming up. Extra barracks are building. It is a Hellion Banshee opening here for Mr. Clem as he goes for a third gas. We do expect a fourth gas and a double engineering bay in the near future. Spore Crawler's going down for Solar. Interestingly, that spore on the right looks like it's almost an anti-liberator spore. I guess he doesn't know about the cloaked banshees coming in. Spore Crawler in the main as well, also placed to defend Liberators. It's a double evolution chamber build, very greedy for Solar, wants to go for quick double upgrades rather than the fast lair and Baneling Nest. If he knew about the Banshees, he would be going fast lair, because you need Overseers to shut these bad boys down. So we should expect a lair to start any moment now that he's seen a Banshee. 2 drones do go down, still no lair. Surprised he hasn't built that reactively. I guess he's saying, screw it, I'm already committed. I want to spend my first 250 gas on the upgrades. That is an interesting decision, a confident decision for Solar. Does mean the Banshees could go take up residence in the middle area, away from the Spore Vision, and potentially get some damage. Ling almost gets an SCV, but not quite. Double upgrade starting for Clem, but they've already started for Solar a few seconds earlier. Lair still has not started. The next 100 gas does start the Lair immediately. Solar realizes he's already been greedy by skipping that. Uh-oh. Okay, a couple more drones go down. That's 5 in total. Hellions on the top side, deflected by those 3 queens. Oh, that queen goes a little far, but she's getting some damage on the Banshees, which is good. And with the transfuse there as well, that's real nice. But another 2 workers go down. These Banshees have done a decent little bit of damage. Now, you don't want to lose them, though. That's the big thing. Oh, I like this split there. Gets 2 more workers, doesn't lose any of them. 4th base, very quick here for Solar. Solar's a player who often doesn't get a fast 4th base. He really just pumps out of the 3-base setup. Gets a macro hatch and a 4th base only when he wants to. But 71 drones already. That being said, there is 61 workers for Clem. Clem's position is not bad by any means. But I still stand by everything I said earlier. 7 to 10 minute marks, it's the key. You have to get some damage and momentum because that's just where Clem's good, is dancing around with bio, mines, stimming in, stimming out, running in drops, all that sort of stuff. Whereas if you let Solar be for too long, he does get out of control. Now, Baneling speed does need to start. There we go. That's going to finish about 8 minutes. Zerglin comes in, sees the 4th command center starting. That's a very early 4th command center. Clem happy to play straight to 4 base this game. The 2nd factory coming up in the main as well. His armory is well timed, but Clem, famous for kind of delaying his 2-2, his concussive shells in a lot of the games. Well, concussive you don't really want to get until about 10 minutes when you have 8 barracks. Oh, good creep here, keeping him back. Looks like he didn't save any scans. A bit of a mistake there for Clem, guys. You meant to always save scans. Finally gets one. Does clear a little bit of the creep, but Solar's so far on this creep already on Oceanborn, and look at that. Runs forward, takes the Widow Mines. He should send the Overseer to the left with a few Zerglings to clean that up, and indeed he does. Nicely done. On the right side, Hatchery takes some damage, but doesn't go down, and Solar is all over this opening. 2-2s on the way, Baneling Nest, Overlord drop speed, or Overlord movement speed, I should say, as well as a Hydra Den. Double Widow Mine drop coming in from the left of the map as the army cascades over to the right. Looking to group up there for a big push. Are we going to go 2 Widow Mines on 1 base, or will he try and alternate these? The queens are there, spotting it. Clem. Ooh, Clem, mate. What are we doing? A little bit derpy there from Clem. He's got that medevac on control group 0. Not sure what he has that bound to. Hellbat Marine Mine spready on the right side. 2-2 started for Clem. It's about 30 seconds behind Solar. Not too bad. Oh, this is a very dangerous engagement. He quickly unburrows a Widow Mine, but before it can burrow, the Banelings do clean it up. Solar's got a big clump of Banelings there. He's afraid to go up the ramp. Doesn't know if there's more Widow Mines. And of course, we know there's only one on the left. 4th command center going to float down. More bio mine coming out. 6, 7, 8 barracks should be coming forwards as the next step. Marines go down. Clem, got to be careful. Notice he waits for the medevacs to be close by before he does risk that maneuver. Solar does take a small Widow Mine hit. 7 or 8 kills go down. Not the end of the world. He's going to push the left at the same time. Clem trying to get some action going. Solar's on 90 workers. If Solar can just stabilize, he'll be fine. Clem, he needs to get that damage done now. This is that window we were talking about earlier. Oh, decent Widow Mine hit. He does lose a few Marines. That Widow Mine was quite nice as well. Solar has a macro hatch started, but it's not up yet. He needs to defend these 5 bases. Preferably stacking some injects on them would be really nice. The Widow Mine drop comes in. Only gets 3 workers. Good handling by Solar, who just needs to hang on. Be careful. Don't chase off creep. Hang on. Weather the storm. Lurker Den and Hive are on the way. And Solar right now is down about 20 army supply. That's not too bad. 6, 7, 8 barracks coming in for Clem. Big fight here. The Marines doing a nice spready. Clem's trading so far has been favorable. 3,200 to 4,500 resources, but wow, Solar. Oh, Solar takes a few big Widow Mines. This is a scary point in the game, guys, where he looked like he was about to stabilize, but taking Widow Mine hits like that may give Clem enough momentum to find damage. You did not want to let that happen. The Widow Mine there does look for the splashy. It's going to end up just firing on the queens, though, and they will be able to take care of that. Whole army gathering on the left, though. Solar's got to be careful. You can't be gathering your whole army on one side of the map. That being said, Clem doesn't have any more command centers, guys. He's got a planetary there, no extra orbitals. He's on 8 barracks. 2-2's about to finish, no concussive just yet. Widow Mines are there burrowed. He's trying to get more damage, but the thing is, I think Solar's past the scariest part of this game. He's almost at Lurker and Hive Tech. Unless Clem can bait him into some awful Widow Mine shots and then immediately punish, Solar is looking like he is getting to the point of the game where he is what I predicted heavily favored. I could be wrong on that. You never know what form the players are bringing into the tournament, but gets a full medevac there. These Widow Mines are all getting cleaned up, even though they're getting a fair few kills. Oh, he does stim down the bottom. How many queens did he just take out? Okay, looks like only 1 queen was down there. Loses a couple Marines. Widow Mine does fire, and he's going to try and drop into that main base. Vipers are on the way. Adrenal Glands as well. He's got enough gas for +3 Carapace, does Solar, but he might want to spend that gas on Lurkers instead. Lurkers absolutely stuff these pushes, but he hasn't got them just yet. Hydras and a Spore in the main almost killed the medevac, but not quite. On the top side, Ling Bane's going to try and ambush those Marines. A couple of decent Widow Mine hits, getting a few of those Zerglings. Solar with some pretty good emergency spreadies, though, to limit the damage. Banelings are close! Banelings are close! Oh, he actually takes out a lot of those units, and medevac getting away deep in the red. We've got Queens and a Spore on that side as well. Clem is taking massive losses right now. And I got to tell you, Solar's had way worse units lost tabs than this. He's feeling confident right now. He's maxed. He's got the army supply advantage. +3 Carapace on the way. Vipers are out. He hasn't even made Lurkers yet, and he doesn't need to. Honestly, he's actually just stabilized and shut everything down. Now Clem's starting that transition to the late game. He's got 3 more command centers, but he's got concussive. You know, he's got 3 started. He's making a couple ghosts as well. That's okay. The problem is, Solar is on 90 workers. He is exploding to late game. If he makes 10 Lurkers with his next 1,000 gas and pushes across the map, I do not foresee Clem defending a 5th base. I think Clem would be lucky to hang on to his 4th. Oh, you got to be careful with those Overseers staying near the Widow Mines. But none of them getting good enough shots to really matter. Parasitic Bombs cleaning up these medevacs. There is still a full one down there that's somehow going to survive. This command center just wants to force the lift. You got to be careful about chasing too far here as Solar. This army, very weak. You want to break these rocks down and get ready for the next wave. Abduct goes down there. That's the budget way to clean that up. Abducting into the Hydras. Solar's going to grab his whole army together in the north. Burrow +3 Carapace and the Seismic Spines. Now the Adaptive Talons upgrade. The Lurker movement speed upgrade on the way. Ooh. Okay, Lings are coming in right now. But good handling so far. Trying to take out the Sensor Tower and some SCVs. Big fight on the right is probably the more important part. Where is the rest of Clem's army? There's a Nidus in the back as well. Oh, Solar right now is penetrating every single angle at once. This man is a master. He's playing the piano with Clem's bases. And Clem is in trouble. Yes, he's holding on in the front, but that's a distraction. Lings are in the main base. They're going to go after the Ghost Academy. He accidentally rallied to the Ghost Academy. I think it's usually better to go after the SCVs. I think that was a misclick there for him with those Zerglings. But look at this. The army's out-positioned him. Clem's going to have to fight back into the Hydra Bane as it's between his rallies right now. Lings are also building command centers down there. Oh, these Widow Mines, most of them getting blown up before they could fire. No massive Widow Mine shots. 3rd base is in the open now. He's got a lot of Hydras. He doesn't want to lose these Hydras. Solar's being careful to engage the enemy army. Nidus Worm goes down, but a few Zerglings do burrow in the main base. Baneling's hitting both the Mineral Line, the Planetary repairing SCVs. The Planetary goes down. Building armor never got made in this game. We're not at that late game stage. And Solar is all over it. Zerglings burrowed in the main. They unburrow and almost kill the Ghost Academy. Zerglings blocking the 3rd base from relanding. +2 range, +3 melee on the way. He's already got that very important +3 Carapace. I like the Lings constantly trying to go in and be annoying, trying to catch a command center there. We'll get cleaned up pretty quickly this time, but Solar has more money where that came from. His first 6 Lurkers are making. This is one thing I do think the Zergs have been missing. I think if you identify an opponent's playing a non-siege tank style like Clem is, the earlier you make 10 Lurkers, the earlier you can get yourself a win. And this is something Solar has missed here, is the potential to do a Lurker timing. He's trying to do it with the Nidus Worm in the back door, which is a fantastic sneaky move. Now notice when he burrows, the Lurkers were getting burrowed before the Widow Mines connected. So the Widow Mines only did the splash damage, not the direct damage to those Lurkers. That being said, Banshees will eventually clean those up. Does save most of the Lurkers. Good pullback. Command Center on the north is forced to lift. This army gets even more Zerglings burrowed below it. Clem is getting overrun right now. Solar did not take much damage in that 7 to 10 minute window where Clem had to find damage. He kind of went for a fast 4th Command Center, played more of a I'm happy to play late game. And Solar has showed him, you do not want to just be happy to play late game against me, because I will overrun you. Wait. Clem is getting some counterattack on the south. He's going to pick up and pull back quickly. There's a Lurker Den over there. He's going to finally take out that Lurker. Sorry, not Lurker Den, a burrowed Lurker. Which I guess the burrow of a Lurker is literally a Lurker's Den. But there's a structure called the Lurker Den, so we probably should use a different name for a burrowed lurker. It's little trapdoor, it's little tunnel, little lurker tunnel. Trying to clean up this creep, which is respreading through the middle. Solar's still got good creep control on his side of the map. He's still denying a lot of these bases. These two Banshees, 16 kills on one, 10 on the other, have been fantastically effective in this game. Looks like Clem's going to try and stabilize here. Solar, he's on 83 workers. He's got a 6th base down here. I think it's amazing. Okay, looks like a Liberator harass came in, gets abducted and dealt with. It's amazing that Clem's hanging on. I really thought Solar would have just overwhelmed him by now. I'm not saying he's in a good spot. He's not. He's got 6 orbitals, though, which is impressive. Like, I really thought with all that chaos, he would have lost some more command centers. Uh-oh, Vipers fly over a Widow Mine. Oi, oi, get back, boys. Get back. What are you doing, mates? Okay, there we go. Are there any overseers? 4 overseers right now, but there's none on this northern army, which is a bit of a mistake. Solar sitting over that Widow Mine, definitely very dangerous. That Ghost is, or Marines are going to go for it. The Viper pulls back at the last second. Army in the south side running in. Plenty of units there for Solar. He's happy to take that engagement, and he does indeed take out the Widow Mine before it can fire. That Widow Mine does barely get a shot off, though. Army in the north thinking about chasing him down. Is Solar taking his eye off the prize a little bit? He's going for a Spire right now, making me think that he's thinking about Broodlords, but I do feel like he should probably be able to overwhelm a little bit more. That being said, Clem's hanging on with his 6 orbitals. Clem is fighting back impressively well. He's just trying to control space. But he's got to be careful about overcommitting, and that's what he's doing a very good job of so far. Nice Ling spreading forwards, dragging those Widowmine shots away. He does have more Viper energy, doesn't he? Oh, he's only got 1 Viper left, actually. Never mind. These Medevac's going to try and pull back on the north. I like the abandoning with the SCVs. Smart move by Clem. He has to cancel that command center. The other one has to lift. But as long as he doesn't lose all those SCVs, that's acceptable. On the south side, he's got a spread of Widowmines, making it awkward for Solar to engage. Solar needs more units if he wants to bust a planetary. The Widowmine's getting picked off before they can fire. Big moves there for Solar. Oh, that one got a big smear on those Zerglings. Bailey's going after the Marines and the Ghosts. You got to be careful about committing too deep here as Solar, because the tail end of the fight can turn against you. And indeed it does there. Clem with an impressive hold. Big army on the south, not taking part in that for Solar. Solar realizing he's got to be using his whole army. He can't have half of his army just defending, but he was afraid to attack into Widowmine Planetary with just Hydra Baneling. He wanted some like Zerglings to absorb the splash damage, that sort of stuff. Nidus Worm gets popped down there in the main as well. Units lost have 7,000 resources in favor of Clem. 2 Infestors are on the way for Solar. Solar's struggling to finish this game off. It's a map where you really feel like with this much of an advantage, Solar would have been able to. Oh, he goes to the Parasitic Bomb, but EMP stops him. And Clem does a hot pickup. SCVs are going to evacuate again. That command center keeps getting cancelled, which is a bummer. That time it dies. The Liberator Mine making it hard to engage. Nidus in the main base, but immediately noticing that is Mr. Clem, shutting it down. Solar, he's looking for an opening. His bank is not that big an advantage, and that's the scary thing. Because his momentum is starting to drift away unless he finds that big engagement. He's cleaning up a lot of Widow Mines. Big Widow Mine hit finally lands there. The rest of the Widow Mines didn't really fire, so it's okay on its own. Lingbane Hydra going to the left. Some Hydras go north to try to deal with those libs, and they will be able to take out quite a lot of them. Let's watch this fight on the bottom. The Lingbane trying to cascade into the natural. I think you got to pull back Solar. He's continuing into the natural. Crazy engagement by Solar. Feels he has the momentum. Looks like he killed a bunch of Liberators up the north. And I don't think we've seen any more lib harass or anything like that this game. Clem just not finding a chance to really do anything other than defend. Losing all these SCVs in the north would be a problem. A few of them do survive. 9 SCVs do survive. A bunch of those units die. Lurkers popping out behind the base at the same time. Solar starting to overwhelm Clem just with raw numbers of actions. Those Lurkers are getting taken out. Clem is barely hanging on right now for dear life. If Solar can remax and do another wave just like that, I think he's got this one in the bag. I really do think he's got this one in the bag. Oh, Marine drop comes in on the south. Clem realizing he's got to do something to put some counter pressure on Solar. Any seconds he can buy of distraction is going to be massive. If he could get some libs in there or something, that'd be huge. But oh, was this a trap? This was almost a trap. Solar pops out a Lurker. Nidus Worm gets shut down, but he knows that means there's a lot of army up in the main for Clem. He could deny this northern basing, and both of these bases are orbitals. They're wide open. It's go time for Solar. I don't think there's anything Clem can do. He dodges the EMP. Nicely done there. Does get sniped, though. Here we go. There's an Infestor coming in from the right side. He's coming in with a big old army as Solar. He's moving up north. And honestly, oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, Clem. Here we go. That Infestor could ruin his day. And indeed, it does. He throws a second fungal almost too quickly. But it doesn't matter. As long as you lock those ghosts in, they can't get picked up. Clem does get overrun. But a massive mention for how well Clem fought that out. I thought he was dead at 12 minutes. He lasts to 20 minutes and makes it quite competitive. All right, a rough game one for Clem, and that's unfortunate because that was kind of his map. I didn't even really comment a bit on it and think about it. But if you look at it, that was, yeah, it was Oceanborn, a map which I always say is a fantastic map for Terran versus Zerg. And now we're going on to Equilibrium, a fantastic map for Zerg against Terran. Now, that being said, I've been saying this map is amazing for Zerg versus Terran. A few people have told me apparently Clem has pretty decent stats on this map over the last weeks of playing the regionals, of playing the weekly cups leading into this tournament. So a few people in my Twitch chat said actually, similar to Max Pax having a really good record versus Zerg on this map, despite the gold base with the rich gas, Clem, even more surprisingly, playing Terran, the race which is the weakest on this map supposedly, actually also has a very good win rate on it. And I guess it's just because he's very good in macro games and it's a big, wide map. It's hard to kill people. So interesting to hear that. Big shout out to Twitch chat, as always, those gold players telling me how to cast StarCraft and often being surprisingly correct. You know, people, we make fun of Twitch chat for not really knowing what's going on in StarCraft and always pretending they're way better than they are, but there's actually a lot of people who watch a lot of StarCraft, don't necessarily play at a high level, and they actually do have some great insight. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's everything. 50% is probably garbage and 50% is fantastic, but that's just the nature of the world, isn't it? Still sad that they sanitize this area, guys. This little bed is meant to have a body on it that's being chopped to pieces by the different robots, and there's meant to be a different robot arm kind of dissecting the body and picking it apart, but they did sanitize the map for the ladder, which took away what I thought was one of the coolest parts of this map. When I saw this map in the Team Liquid map contest, like, I was actually just gushing over the weird gore experiments going on it. Nice pullback for Solar so far. Clem already forcing a Spore Trick, getting some damage on the Zerglings. I think that's pretty good damage. Just don't want to get cut off by the Queen. Now, he's going 3 Command Center again. Clem is sticking to the same sort of opening, but let's talk about what Clem needs to do differently to win, to avoid that last situation. I think the main thing is you want to be greedier or more high impact. What do I mean by that? So basically, the way Maru loses to Solar is he tries to do funky all-ins and funky harassment, or he plays too safe. When he wrecks Solar, it's usually because he basically plays really greedy opening, and then he like doesn't bother with safety Banshees. He doesn't bother with safety this or that. He builds like, okay, I'm gonna make 2 Hellions, and then we're just going straight into non-stop Marine mine drops and just YOLOing into the main, YOLOing into the third, basically not giving Solar respect and just, or even giving him enough respect and saying, I'm just going to throw crazy stuff at you off of a greedy start. So a mixture of greed with no safety precautions into very aggressive play can be great. So I'd like to say like a Liberator, which guess what? There's no add-on here. He can't build a Banshee. So the double Banshee, it's a big investment. And because Zergs are so good at deflecting it without critical damage and it hits so slowly, it's hard to really get a lot of damage from it. And we're actually going to see a Viking. So he's going to deny an Overlord. He might go a Liberator after that, but this is at least going to push Solar's vision back into a corner. He's still building a lot of Hellions, though. I was thinking second Barracks opening would actually be one of the best for Clem, because I think the earlier you can start getting your Stim Marines on his side of the map, going 3 Command Center into 2 Barracks is a fantastic way to play, but Solar, rock solid so far. 0 supply blocks to be seen. Solar is very tight. You know, I talk about how Serral has flawless macro. Solar as well. None of these guys get supply block. The reason I do, you know, always mention that with Dark is because it's actually so rare for a guy like Solar or Serral to ever get a supply block in the first 5 minutes of the game. You can see his Overlord started taking damage. He's already building 3 more Overlords. So even losing an Overlord is not going to effectively supply block Solar, because he immediately prepares by doubling up on his Overlords. And he's just so tight on those openings. And this is one of those things I wish I could do, because I always feel like if I get really good on my tactics, I always die to supply blocks. And if I get really good on my macro, my tactics start to fail. That's kind of the... Oh, Medevac gets spotted. It's actually a Hellion drop. Wait, what? Okay. Is he just going to go Hellion drop in the main plus Hellion run by on the third? Old school, I like it. Look at Solar's vision, sorry guys. Look how much his vision's been pushed back. No vision here. No vision here. Very little vision in the main. He is well set up because he realizes, hey, there could be a drop or Liberator. I've got Spore on there, you know, on the main. I've got my Lings spread out. And look at that. It's an empty Medevac. It's an empty Medevac. He's distracting him with an empty Medevac. Meanwhile, this is the real move. Clem comes in with a big 300 IQ play. But you know what? What's he get for it, guys? 4 drones. Almost loses 2 Hellions. That's actually totally fine for Solar. Solar defends quite well. He's got double Evo again, so he's playing very greedy again. Really fast double upgrades. To be fair, Clems are a little faster this time around. But I actually think Solar's done a fantastic job of adapting to the build. The Viking only got a single Overlord kill. And that's kind of what you expect at this level, to be fair. But, oh, wait. The Lings are not in position right now. Oh my gosh, Solar actually has no Lings at home. If those Hellions dove in, they could have got big damage. On the other hand, the Lings are ready for a run by. Seeing the Hellions on his side of the map, Solar will get in there. Get out of there, Clem. Run, my friend. And he's going to quickly raise the depot, pick up those Marines. And, oh, I like that dropping in the corner. However, they are still getting surrounded a little bit too much. But as long as he buys time, as long as the SCVs cower in the corner, the Hellions get back here. They do deflect. And he loses a single SCV for 16 Zerglings. Now, to be fair, a few Marines died as well. And a bit of mining time. That is just the frustration of a Terran player who can focus fully on their defense and react really well. Clem is incredibly clutch at getting hit by backstabs and run-bys and handling them flawlessly. Baneling Nest Lair on the way. Gold base is coming up here. This is the big scary thing for the Terran. But finding a few more drones, really nice. And the longer you maintain these Hellions, guess what? Armory's on the way. You could turn these into Hellbats in a little bit, heal them up with Medivacs, use them to fight. It is Biomine pressure as well. And I do think Biomine is one of the best ways to play against Solar. I'm happy that he's not changing that. I'm sure some people would say, oh, you got to play siege tanks. You got to hit him with a sharp push. I think Biomine is one of the best ways to really just out-multitask your opponents as a guy like Clem. Oh, I like the Queen's tanking these Widow Mines, but he keeps changing the Widow Mine so that it doesn't fire. Oh, Clem not letting Solar bait that. Solar's like, God damn it, let your Widow Mines fire on my Queen so my Ling Bane can engage, please. And Clem's like, no, even without 1-1 or combat shields. And look at that, the Queens do take some big hits. One of them goes down, the other one gets transfused. 2 drones going down, the Hellions darting in the bottom. Oh god, his multitasking is off the chain. Solar 500 APM, Clem 410 right now. Hatchery in the north getting focused, and it goes down, no cancel. Oh, Clem's flowing now. Solar, uh-oh, he's taking big damage. He's got to get on top of this. Drop in the main. The Hellions are backed off in the middle. The Widow Mines are still out front, not getting cleaned up. The Overlord barely survives, though. Good pullbacks. Solar's got a 5th base on the way. He's got a Hydra Den. Marines are going to redrop in that main base. Solar, his whole army's trying to gather at the front, but oh god, I'm scared of that Widow Mine right now. Oh my, oh me, oh my. Banelings are going to get taken out. One of them hits a Marine. And good in and out micro, but Clem's ready to dive on that gold. That gold base is giving a crazy income boost, but Solar only just got it set up. It keeps getting denied by the Hellions, now by the Marine Mine Hellbat. Oh, 7 more drones go down, not letting Solar get established. Remember what we said about the 7 to 10 minute mark window in the last game? Well, Clem is finding that damage. This is his window. It's mid-game. Early mid-game is where he needs to do damage. He did just lose all of his Marines on the top to Banelings. He wasn't looking, but does it matter if he's getting this much damage on the bottom? I don't think it does. He's got a newer army that's just rallied across the map in the north. He's focusing down so many drones. Army in the top. It's only 8 Marines in a Widow Mine, but it's still going to do damage to the hatchery. Widow Mines are here. They could move forward. Drop going in behind the natural. He turns it around. He goes back to the 3rd. Queens do shut that down. Both medevacs will fall, including the one filled with units. Units on this north side pull back. 2 of the Marines went down. The Widow Mine did fire on the south side. Widow Mine does fire again. 19 workers have gone down, a total of 30 across the game for Solar. That one apparently is in range as well. I didn't realize. Gets another couple of workers. 4th command zone is going out for Clem. Clem is not focusing on his macro. He is focusing on killing his opponent, and it's a very worthwhile focus for the Terran. He's up 30 supply, most of which is army. Equal workers, and whilst he doesn't have the gold base, he doesn't need it as long as he's got Solar pinned back defensively. Yes, Solar's upgrades are okay, but his creep is completely missing on this north side. I don't know if Solar can defend this blue base. He may have to give it up and just rely on the gold on the bottom, but he doesn't want to give up this territory. Widow Mines are firing, but only on individual Lings and Banes, nothing too powerful. Oh, the Marines run up the ramp into the Banelings. Nice turnaround ambush for Solar. Infestation pits on the way as well. Pig casually going into auctioneer mode in order to keep up with the action. This is the unfortunate. The only way to commentate a Clem game is you have to be a goddamn auctioneer. Going once, going twice. Marines in the north. Lots of Hydras. There's Hydras here as well. Is it going to be for the red gentleman with the Terran arsenal of guns in the left side of the map? He wants the win. He doesn't want to go down 0-2 in a best of 5. He won't be able to come back from there. The Hydras, the Lings, and the Banes are here as well. Who's going to be buying it? This one is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to win the Zerg's map away from them. If you can't take the Zerg's map away from them, he's going to be too confident. He's going going to have more maps up his sleeve. You got to take this one out right here, right now. The trading is exceptional. 4,000 resource advantage for Clem in the units lost tab. Liberator Mine coming forward as well. There's a lot going on, and honestly, it feels like Solar needs like a backstab or something. I like the idea of sending a few Lings across, but it is a planetary, not an orbital on the expansion. The Widowmite on the high ground damaging the Queen. Solar doesn't have the numbers. This gold base is just being constantly under assault, and I gotta ask the question, guys. Was the gold base a bit of a trap this game? If he just took a more conservative fourth base, would it have been easier to defend? I don't know if that's the answer or not, but look, the Marines are there in the top. The drones get pulled off the north. Solar's multitasking is good. There was even a Liberator over here just at the end of this game, guys. There was a Liberator that came in on that right side as well. Oh, man. Liberator Marine Mine there, Liberator there, and Marines in the north. A Viking denying vision. And Clem, a small adjustment, goes for a Viking to deny the vision and then just goes into non-stop biomine pressure, but he hit it a lot faster this game. I'm not sure when the first bio was stimming in there, but because he didn't build the 2 Banshees with Cloak, which really slows your build down, he just built a single Viking, a single Medevac. He still built a good amount of Hellions. Yeah, pre-7 minutes, he was already there with Marine Mine, and it felt like with such a small set of units, 1 Medevac, 9 Marines, and then a few more rallying in, he really kept Solar distracted and just didn't quite let Solar get established in the game. Really lovely play to tie up the series for Clem. And now both players have beaten their opponent on their map pick, which is the most exciting way for a series to start. All right, guys. Clem once again going for a 1-Rex expand. Reaper coming out. He's got a SCV blocking the triangular third. Going to force Solar away from expanding towards the gold base. There is still a rich gas base up there, which is not too bad. Interestingly, Solar has not made Ling speed. He's just going to go for a 28 third hatchery. So this is like a, yeah, modified Clash build, old school greedy opening. Not something that Solar or any of the Zergs really like doing against Beyond and their ilk, because the Korean players love those heavy Rex Reaper aggressions. Clem gets the Zergling. Good discipline. Knew he could tank a few hits there. And he will... No, he doesn't scout the third. That's interesting. Oh! Oh, he gets a creep tumor again. Solar is like, what the hell? Aren't you checking for the third? Clem's like, no, I was pretending to check for the third. So you'd put the creep tumor down. Now I check for the third. See that after killing a creep tumor. Idiot. Very clever play there for Clem. Now Clem is going to go Hellion production before Starport by the looks of it. Oh no, he does build the Starport. Never mind. Yeah, Starport. So you can go straight for Hellions or you can go straight for Starport second gas. Reaper comes in, gets himself a Zergling. He'd love to get another one. Good attack and pullback micro by Solar. The Queens come forward, protect. They protect. Reaper has to back off. So this delays the Hellions a little bit. This is the sort of build where if they got Ling speed finishing at 320 and they run in, they can sometimes kill a bunch of SCVs because your Hellions are delayed. Whereas if you delay the Starport and the second gas, you can go immediately for the Hellions and be completely safe. Ooh. Okay, guys, it's a chill early game, so I'll answer this question in chat really quickly. We've got Asione who says, hey, Pig, I'm following your Bronze GM Protoss. I'm stuck on 3,400 MMR. I have 6,800 games career. Do you think I can ever reach Masters? Or if I didn't reach there after 7,000 games, it's never going to happen. I think you need to improve in a community. So you need to hop in my Discord. You need to post a replay of your weakest matchup, the one you're struggling with the most, with some real kind of information on what you're trying to achieve in the matchup, what you think your problems are. You need to be critical. You can't just play games and expect yourself to improve. You got to, and if you do it on your own, it's very hard because we don't all know enough about how to learn. We don't know enough about StarCraft. But if you join my Discord, there's a ton of Masters, GM, Diamond players all helping each other out, including myself. I look at a lot of the replays in there and give people feedback. So get in my Discord server. You guys can always find that usually in my YouTube descriptions of the videos. You can always go to my Twitch channel, type !Discord, even if I'm offline. And we've been coaching a lot of players from Bronze all the way through to GM. There are GMs who do post replays in there sometimes looking for a bit of discussion. And it's a really good way to improve. Nice Ling run by here. Overlord coming in. Marines are going to take that one down. Ling's going to go into the natural base. Uh-oh. Fighting this with SCVs is not optimal because he couldn't get a surround because they're fighting on the edge of the mineral line. Notice he's trying to surround there. This is really bad for Mr. Clem. Liberator comes in and gets 2 drones, but Solar reacted well. He should have just pulled those SCVs to the high ground or ran to the third base. That was a bit of a mistake there for Clem. I said he's really good at handling this stuff perfectly, but to be fair, he hasn't taken a single hit with his Liberator yet. Like, that's the first damage it's taken, which shows that he was handling the multitasking well. Unfortunately, he's too close. The Queens can hit him from there if they move to the edge. But the Hellions come in and distract him. So the Hellions actually save the Liberator there, I believe. Hellions dancing around. There's not that many Zerglings on the map. There's only 3 right now. The Hellions, if they risk diving in there... Oh, he's going for it. He senses weakness. He's like, where are your units? And the drone's running away from the Hellions into the Liberator. Oh, no. Clem is getting out of control right now in Alcyon. This is a Terran map pick, but it's still something where Solar, I thought he was in a pretty good spot. He's going for the double upgrades once again. Solar trying to play the same style 3 games in a row. Clem has been leveling up his aggression and his multitasking though, and he's finding weakness. The Zerglings need to get these 2 Reddit point Hellions. Man, I can't believe Clem is finding so much damage. Finally, Solar deals with it, but oh my god, the Liberator is still there. You are kidding me. How is this Liberator still alive? He loses 6 Hellions in a Reaper, but look at the units lost tab. Not only 50% better trading, he killed 14 drones, wasted an immense amount of mining time. Got a lot of Zergling kills as well. That was a fantastic start there for Clem. Now, that being said, his 4th and 5th barracks haven't started. He is a little supply blocked on 93. I say a little because he was still building SCVs during it. If you're still building workers, technically you could be at the supply cap, but then the depot's finished. You only missed maybe 1 SCV in total production time. Not too bad. Marines and mines running forwards. The Liberator goes home to repair, which is a great move as well. So we can go back with that Liberator later. Pros at the top have finally, after 13 years, gotten very good at repairing their units and using them for more value later. 4th base gets cancelled. Queen didn't die. Double drop goes into the main. Lings are on top, though. And any damage you can get on these medevacs are excellent. If those Queens get some damage, this is a very unnecessarily risky drop for Clem. Throws away a Marine and a bunch of hit points on the medevacs. Good defense by Solar. Now, Solar's doing the double Baneling Nest response. This is a very technical maneuver called freaking out because the game's a bit too hectic, and that's exactly what's happening to Solar right now. Oh, he always gets the medevac. That was a cute move. But yeah, he's a bit excited. That being said, his lair's done. As long as he starts building an extra Baneling Nest is not that expensive. It's not the end of the world. It's just goes to show that his mental state, he's a little frazzled. Goes for +2 melee. Carapace is the more important upgrade, but Clem is already here with mass Marines and Widow Mines, and these are the first Banelings he's making. Yes, Baneling speed is on the way, but I don't know if he even realizes +2 Carapace didn't start. Queens, Lings, Banes could technically hold on, but he's got to buy himself an entire minute until Baneling speed's done. Those Queens, he already loses 2 of them. This is not something he can be afforded. He has to go in right now. But if he's going to fight like that, the Ling Bane needs to either flank or he needs to run past the Marines and then trap them. He can't just be A-moving from the front. That Widow Mine's getting some decent shots there. Watch out for the Banelings. Oh, the Widow Mine. Did he retarget that mine? I think he might have. It didn't end up getting the big hit it might have, but I think he actually retargeted that mine. Clem is next level at targeting those Widow Mines. 8 Marine drop going out the left side right now. We've got more barracks building. So it's 4th command center, 2nd factory on the front with the tech lab. 3 more barracks. 2-2 does start for Terran. About 50 seconds behind the melee. 35 seconds behind the carapace. Medevac does go down. Units lost tab 1,200 in favor of Clem right now. Marine's going to stim in on the north. I like this move. If you can get in the mineral line, Solar's a little slow to react right now. Solar's trying to go Infestation Pit Hydra, and he's thinking about Hive, Hydras, all that sort of stuff. The only problem here is that you're letting Clem pick and choose when to fight you, and this is the problem with Solar's predictability, is Clem is not worried about defense at all at any point in this game because Solar is so predictably defensive. And remember, I said Solar's one of the best macro Zergs of all time. His strength is that he's better doing predictable things than most Zergs, but on the downside, he might be better at executing them, but you are also giving your opponent warning of what you're doing ahead of time. I've mentioned this, that like he can play 20 minutes of a ZVT and never do a counterattack sometimes. No Ling run bys, no moving across the map until Lurkers hit the field or he's got like a maxed Hydraling Bane army. And that does allow Clem. I've always said historically, Clem, you don't want to let him attack you because that's where he's most comfortable, that's where he's best. But that's what's so fascinating about this match. You've got the best defender versus the best attacker. You're both kind of going, no, I'm not going to counter you strategically. I'm going to just outplay you with my rock-solid defense as Solar or my insanely powerful rock-solid aggression as Terran. And this is such a weird situation because, yes, Clem's got momentum. Oh, okay, I was going to say, but at any moment, if he can just get a few good Baneling hits, he'll be good, but the units are just coming in too small. A Baneling kind of connects, so these Marines are getting crazy value, and oh my god, he's got to reinforce. The Liberator comes across. The units lost have now 3,500 resources in favor of Clem. Going for the Hive, the Infestation, and the Hydra Den may have been a little bit too much too soon. And you know what? This is actually really smart by Clem. Clem set himself up for this. I don't know if you guys have noticed yet. I've just realized he stopped building workers at 66 workers. Normally in this scenario, Terran keeps building to 75 workers, sometimes 80. But Clem actually very consciously said, no, no, no. I'm going to max out at 66 workers, probably at like 6 or 7 minutes. And then I'm just going to stop, right? His last few workers are being built here. And if we watch from this point in the game, yes, he builds a pretty quick 4th command center, which made me think, oh, it's a macro game. But is it really? He doesn't build any more workers in this game. He's just like, nah, this is the worker count I need. I am going to make nothing but army. And whilst I'm still setting up for a longer game somewhat, I am really leaning into this aggression. I know I don't need to worry about anything else. And the way he saved the Liberator earlier is actually God tier as well, right? Stimming in the front, the Liberator comes in from there. The Queens do deal with it, like great play by Solar to handle that the way he did. But like the Widow Mines were great. I don't think he actually retargeted that Widow Mine, by the way. And he just keeps on going. And he's like, look, little 8 Marine drop on the left, everything else to the front. 3 barracks come down, still not building workers. He started +2 weapons, didn't have enough gas for +2 armor, doesn't matter. He's just going to keep attacking. Solar, on the other hand, is like, build another queen, rebuild me queens, make another 5th base. Make a Hydrogen, make an infestation. You know, he's really trying to get up to the next step. And Clem is a little bit more just like, look, if I can just have a bit more aggression, a little bit more commitment, I know how important this 7 to 10 minute window is. And we said it at the start of the series. That's where Clem's going to be most powerful. That's where he's got to get the work done. 2 games in a row, he's found that work now. And he's on match point. Very well played here by Clem. All right, well, he's down but not out. He's got to win the next 2 maps in a row, and we're going into his map. It's the perfect time for Solaris to come out for Solar in the top right for Onside Gaming. Team Liquid's Clem coming forwards, looking for some damage with the Reaper. And it does look like it's going to be a 3rd command center build again. Clem says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to keep doing 3cc all day, every day. So same initial opening, but he has shown variety in the follow-ups. Now, his Hellions got a bit out of control in that last game. The last 2 games even, you could argue, actually. I think the big Ling run by on Equilibrium really put Solar behind because he threw away all of his Zerglings and then he just could never deal with the Hellions poking his gold base. But even that last map, yeah, it felt like definitely there was just like 3 Zerglings at some point, and then the Liberator and the Hellions had an absolute ball. Clem, not able to get the Creep Tumor this game. Does get 2 Zergling kills, which is still pretty nice, though. Double Hellion comes down after the starport. Wait. No second gas, though. It's a medevac opening, I believe. So I think we're going to see medevac into 3 barracks into... Wait, this is super weird. No second gas for this long. Yeah, I wonder if he builds barracks before going for gases. The problem is, how are you going to afford upgrades? I guess this is a non-stop Hellion build to start for Clem. He's not building Marines, otherwise it could be a Hellbat timing. It's going to be a Viking. Okay, Viking or Medevac. It had to be one of those cheap gas units. Viking is the cheapest at only 75 gas. Medevac 100. Liberator 125. Banshee also 100. Second gas now goes down in that main base. And yep, 2nd and 3rd barracks going to go up pretty quickly. Okay, so once again, similar to that last game, I think Clem is trying to cut corners to get his aggression to go faster. So because Solar's so defensive, you can try to hit very sharp mid-game timings where it's a mixture of like, yeah, you're doing a 3cc build. Yeah, you've got uninterrupted workers. But if you can just like delay the second gas, only build a single Viking, get those barracks a little bit faster, which, let's be real, this is exactly what he did on Equilibrium. It's a great way to play. It can be a really nice way to just get a bit of momentum and use that to run away with the game. Because we know Clem can out-micro anyone in the world, and that's not because Solar's not on his level. That's kind of how Zerg vs. Terran works. One of the most frustrating things to deal with is, by the way, do we know? I think we just had a quiet part of the soundtrack, right? I'm pretty sure we've had music playing. I'm just like, wait, is my music quiet? But yeah, it's Terran has the more microable units. Now Zerg has creep, Zerg can fight in more places, Zerg has mobility, Zerg can do a lot of different things at once, but a guy like Clem, we've always said if you let him push and just attack and choose where and when to fight, he'll out-micro you. Solar showed in the start of the series that's not the case. I mean, Solar shut down his aggression super hard. But that was a Cloaked Banshee build, which it found a bit of damage. It didn't look too bad, but we just saw that Solar, I think, got a bit ahead of the curve and simply had an abundance of units to kind of overwhelm things. SCVs there. Aliens darting in and out. We've got 1-1 upgrades on the way. 1-1 starting for both sides at a very similar timing, almost identical. Zergling running into the third finds itself a fresh mule, but the Marines should get there in time. Dude, if you lose a mule, that's such a problem. The SCV repairs it, though. Whew, nice move for Clem. Viking has found itself a single kill. Notice Solar's reaction. He pulls the Overlords back. So he doesn't have much vision into the dead space, but I like this Overlord. A Viking can't really kill it without Queens defending it, but it gives you a bit of warning of things like Liberators coming in. Creep spread's very good so far. Clem has got the 4th and 5th reactor, double upgrades. Now Clem always goes 2nd factory, then armory. So watch for the 2nd factory, armory, and he's going to take a 5th gas with it as well. So it's going to be a biomine style. For siege tanks, you might consider getting a 6th gas at this point. Doesn't have 100 gas for the armory, so that's what he's waiting for, guys. Oh, there he does. He does actually queue it up already. He'd already placed it. They just hadn't started building yet. Oh. Okay. Those queens, you got to be careful. Queens, though, they're going to have to kind of move off creep. I like that queen dropping a deuce there to try and give a bit of purple carpet, get him down south. No transfuse available. Oh. Clem is so risky. You just run. It's not even risky. Sorry, it's in your face. He's just aggro. He's just like, oh look, you're off creep. You're pulling back. Bam, kill a queen, run away. Bam, kill a queen, run away. He already got 2 queens, despite being outnumbered there. And this is where he just applies pressure from so early on. He doesn't give the Zerg much of a chance to get in position. Now, I like this move for Solar. Remember I said he can go a whole series without doing any counterattacks. Counterattacks are Clem's big weakness. Oh, he doesn't get the depot up in time. The Marines standing on top. Now, people always say, why do you rally those Marines on the depot? Because it blocks it from raising. The reason is, normally you're going to have 6 or 8 Marines out because you're building like 8, 10 Marines at a time. And then they automatically create a wall off. But in that scenario where you've only got 1 or 2 Marines, it does kind of suck. That being said, great crisis management. Only loses 6 SCVs and a bit of mining time. About as good as you could hope for Clem. And also not getting jumped on the front at the same time. More mules are dropping, more SCVs building. 2-2 did not start, though. And that's a big problem. That's the distraction Solar's just done for him there. Yeah, Solar traded bad cost for cost. But you got to realize there's lost mining time. There's distraction. There's pulling Clem's attention home, which allows more creep spread. So the units lost time only tells us part of what that trade gained for Solar. Solar's now a minute ahead on the upgrades as well. That's a good trade for Clem. I like this sort of move. Look at this. This creeps so far out. The Hellions are like, oh god. Well, he knows Solar's trying to get him. The Hellbats are going to morph. In case Zerglings go after them, they could deal with that. You could actually pick a fight with these Zerglings, which is very cute. It's going to scan their army on the north and the south at the same time. Ling Bane in the middle. Hydras are about to have grooved spines. Lings are going for a bit of a counterattack again there for Solar. Looks like a few Banelings did die to something. Siege tank in the 3rd base, 1 on the high ground as well. The double siege tank Chadhammer defense is looking pretty good for him. Marines are going after the Zerglings right now. Uh-oh. Oh, the medevacs. Oh, he boosted at the last second. Whoo. If you guys struggle with your Marine medevac control, I've always said one of the big things you want to do once the fight starts, you want to control click your medevacs and move them past the Marines. Move them over the Marines. So right click just past them. And then if you're ever in a hotspot of bother, the most important thing is quickly control clicking, press boost, click past the Marines, and then as they're flying over them, load everything in. Clem, though, does it at the last second very well. Most of us, if we wait that long, we're going to lose our entire army. Marines on the north. Nice cancel on the 5th base. Good reaction by Solar. It is a cancel. Does save the drone. But look at this creep. This creep's actually really delaying Clem. He's not able to trade. And remember what I said? 7 to 10 minutes, he's got to do big damage. Now, he's traded 3-to-1 cost efficiency, which is amazing for Clem. But does it matter? Solar is maxed out with 90 workers. He's got a hive finishing, a lurker den finishing, +1 rangers starting. He's ahead on the 2-2 with a hive finishing, which means he could start 3-3 before Terran. Solar has not taken any significant damage. Clem may have been more efficient, but now he has to play a longer game. He is on 77 workers. He's building 2 more command centers this game, so he is set up for it. But oh, those Widow Mines haven't fired. I've already fired. It's a lot of Widow Mine bio here. He's going to go for a quad drop into that main base. I do like that decision. Solar's only got a few queens there. Not much else. His whole army's on the south. Oh, Solar. Solar! Oh, God! Solar's hive is in jeopardy. Hive and Lurkaden, both juicy targets. Lurkaden's the more fragile target at only 850 hit points. The Hive has 2,500. It's about 3 times the tankiness, but he's going to get both. He's going to get both. Banelings aren't fast enough. Yes, the Zerglings get back here. But look at that. He only loses 1 full medevac of Marines and then about 6 or 8 more other Marines on top of it. That's such a good trade for Clem right now. And guess what? Vipers can't be rebuilt. There's only 2 of them out. You've started +3 carapace, but you're going to have to rebuild that stuff from scratch. New layer is making right now. Clem's still got a nice setup on the bottom. His trading is disgusting. He's at almost 3-to-1 efficiency. Maintaining that at this point is getting scary for Solar. Solar might be getting up that late game tech, which is fantastic, but guess what? The Lurker tech isn't there. It's just Hydraling Bane Viper, which can do okay. Ooh, Widowmine's not really getting any big hits, so good for Solar. Will finally evict Clem from this position. Clem attacks in the north, but oh god, Clem not watching! Oh, a rare moment of inattention. Clem's trying to stabilize at his third base, but he does run his Marines in. First big mistake for Clem in this series, and that's going to put him in a big spot of bother. The double Chadhammer defense is solid. The SCVs evacuate from the mineral line. He's been pretty good on the D. Yes, that siege tank will go down, as will the command center. Uh-oh. Oh, we should have lifted that command center a little earlier. Great snipe there for Solar. There is a planetary up north. Double planetary. Extra command centers. One of them's going to float down to replace this. But that was really good. Remember, it was 3-to-1 trading. Now it's 2-to-3. That's a pretty drastically different ratio, you know? From going 1-to-3 to 2-to-3 is like, oh my lord. I should say the numbers in the same order, shouldn't I? I flipped the numbers around the first time I said that, which just sounds confusing. But 8,000 to 12,500. Still in favor of Clem, of course, but Solar's got bank. Solar's got a bit of momentum. Solar's got amazing creep spread on Solaris. It is his hometown. We just need a map called Baguette City, and then Clem will obviously dominate that map as well. Fire in the south. Remember that GSL finals. Solar won that finals on this map. That's not enough Banelings to kill a planetary. I don't think, even with +3 melee, I don't think that would be enough. I think it's 18, and that's 17 Banelings. I could be wrong on my numbers. He's going to actually come in from behind with those Banelings. The Bio getting a good trade. Hydras are coming north. Picks up, loads into the main base. Clem's got libs on the way. He's got ghosts. He's got extra orbitals. And this is what I've really loved about Clem so far in this tournament. He's been pretty smooth at transitioning into extra orbitals, but he's only got 4 right now. Remember, he lost 1 of them. Oh, so he doesn't have like a huge bank for the late game or a huge ability to drop mass mule and stuff. A Marauder and a Ghost got trapped on the corner. 1 or 2 medevacs going down as well. Good micro here by both sides. Solar to focus down some of those units. There's a tank out there on the right side. That is Chadhammer. She moved down to the low ground. She's got 32 kills. She will die very easily the next time Solar commits to a fight there. Army in the north is going to roll in. Hydras and Banes. Clem with a bit of the in and out. No. That was just enough Banelings to take out the planetary. The Hydras would be a good bit of revenge here for Clem, but his stim runs out, and at the same time he's getting assaulted in the bottom. Chadhammer did indeed go down, which means no tanks left on the map. Marine Marauder. Oh, I was going to say with no medevac support is a big problem. Well, he loses 1 medevac there. Widowmine cleans up a few Zerglings. Good pullbacks here for Clem. Clem needs to get some momentum back, but he's not able to. That being said, Solar doesn't really have a bank. He's got to be careful. There's a new orbital down here. Libs coming in are going to make this a difficult engagement. Just the need to keep that command center alive. Bio Ghost coming in from multiple angles. Solar's really forcing Clem to F2 his whole army together, which I don't think is a bad call. Like, he needs to F2 to defend this. Units lost have 5,000 resources in favor of Clem, but it's now a 3-to-4 ratio. The ratio is getting closer and closer for Solar, which is always going to be great for him. Well, a couple Widowmine hits have something to say about that. Solar's still looking for the big mistakes. Clem's army, he just doesn't... I don't think he expected Solar to push in here. Liberator's getting shot down. Bio Ghost getting rolled over. Baneling's going to find the mineral line, I believe. Up in the top right, the army does coalesce down. Clem gets on top of it. He's got to watch out, though. Starter stepping towards Banelings is dangerous. Takes 1 or 2 big Baneling hits. Command center gets cancelled. Widowmines on the south do force Solar out this exit. But Solar keeping things scrappy. He's on 88 workers. He's got a big income advantage right now as well. A couple Zerglings get into that base. Solar being hard to pin down. He's got a rich gas base mining, bottom base, top bases come up. +3 melee, +3 range finally coming in. Those upgrades he was missing due to the earlier transgressions of Clem, destroying his Hive and Lurkaden, are finally being righted. The Adaptive Talons coming in to round out the Lurker upgrades. The Lurkers haven't been morphed yet. Solar did a good job of fighting with that delayed Lurk attack. If he had those Lurkers out on time, I think Clem might have been dead. Oh, here we go. Just a few Zerglings with Adrenal and +2 melee are ruining him. gosh, 5 SCVs go down. Very annoying for Clem. He's only on 69 right now. Well, whilst the power of memes is truly great, I don't know if 4chan decides the winner of this game. I think it might actually be who wins the video game. So 69 workers might sound cool. It's not as good as having 90 workers mining a vast amount of resources. Creep tumors spreading all across the map. I think Solar's done a great job of keeping center control with that. Unfortunately, he's a little slow on moving the queen. He does move the spore over, but Clem is always on point with repositioning those. Lurkers finally show up. A few of these banelings go down. I love that the bio targeted the creep tumors over the morphing banelings. There is no such thing as stupid. You think the American education system's bad? Guys, I don't know what they teach Terran soldiers in bloody boot camp, but it's like, hey, that cocoon, anything could come out of that. An ultralisk, a baneling, whatever. They're like, so Sarge, if there's a little building in front of us, like a little bit of Play-Doh or a little self-replicating poo, should we shoot that or the cocoon that a goddamn giant creature could emerge from? Sarge is like, oh, I don't know, just fucking hold the trigger down and aim in a random direction. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's just like, come on, guys, shoot the cocoon. I get it's got 3 armor and 50 hit points. It is pretty good at absorbing damage, but very annoying when there's like 30 Banes in front of you and you're like, I'm not going to click every single Baneling cocoon. Can we just automatically shoot them? And they're like, nah, let's shoot the creep tumor. Anyways, Hydraling Bane coming in right now. Solar getting rid of those workers. No evacuation? No evacuation, and Clem's army's all over the map. It's not there. He's got the double drop in the back. He's got this army in the north, but that means he can't defend home. He's got to get good counter damage, and he is going to find it. If he can stabilize at home, he should be good. That's a big if. That is a big if, isn't it? The drop in the natural gets mostly deflected. He only saves 2 units. These guys up here, he's doing good damage, killing drones, killing a hatchery as well, but that's an orbital. Oh, boom, boom. Solar brings the Banelings, finds that purple gas orbital command center, no longer a planetary, takes out 30 workers. Yes, he loses 20 of his own. But, oh, the Vipers! Viper snipes. He gets 2 Viper snipes. Clem here with some big boy maneuvers. The last Marauder gets cleaned up in the main, but Solar, he's got to get rid of these guys. Another Queen goes down. There's only 3 Queens, 14 Hydras left. He loses a medevac with some units inside. Clem does not have a lot of bank right now. He's got a few minerals mining there. He's going to try and float one down. The income has got to be a problem. Solo's got half a base. He's got half a base. He's got half a base. He's got 4 half bases of minerals mining. So he's only got 2 full bases. But what's Clem got? Clem's got half a base which if he could secure it would be a full base, but he doesn't have the ability to secure that base, and that's the problem. Still being annoying with his drops is Clem right now, trying to keep Solar back. This army in the south has to do some heavy lifting, and he needs to at the same time saturate this, but it looks like, yeah, it's kind of like 2 or 3 half bases up against the 4 of Solar. Solar maintains a small income advantage. Mules can help. Remember, you've only got 5 orbitals. You need scans for the Lurkers. Lurkers very good at holding back Ghosts and Widow Mines. One of the Lurkers does get sniped as he advances. Nice snipes on the Hydras. A few of those do go down. Oh, some very good snipes. Careful, Solar. Solar takes a Widow Mine here. He's going to go counterattack. He says, I know you've got no defense at home, Clem. I know you're on a bare bones economy. And look at that, the Zergling. He forces the lift, and the single Zergling sticking the finger up above his head and says, nah, you can't land here. You can't land here. The Regina George Zergling says, you can't sit with us. Oh, actually, it was a good Gretchen Wiener who said that, wasn't it? Anyways, full medevac goes down. That's a good catch for Solar. Solar, I don't know why that's like my most referenced movie when I'm talking about StarCraft. I think it's just because I enjoy the fact that it does not fit the setting at all, but it really is, you know, nothing represents modern warfare about the extinction of species, or futuristic warfare, I should say, like a bunch of high school girls arguing about what table they can sit at. Anyways, Infestus, Hydraslings, and Banes hanging out. This is the last-ditch push. Clem needs damage right now. Clem needs either damage or extreme efficiency, because he can't secure this base. He does have this one, which is actually a better base to secure, though. Okay, finds a Lurker on its own, which is good. Solar's got this base back up, though. Solar's got a fresh base there, and he's got those 4 half bases, even though one of them's mining out. So, yes, Clem got a full base, but so did Solar. Clem's half bases aren't looking too flash hot. And remember, every time Solar takes a new base, if Solar can get either this bottom hatchery or the top, that's another full base pretty much instantly, because he's got 70 workers. The only problem is if he doesn't do damage right now, Clem's going to max out, and that's going to be an issue. But, oh, the low economy goat is here, guys. The burrowed infester. The creepy slug. The creepy slug. He's getting ready for it. Oh, nice. Breaks the snipes by pulling back. Infester's not actually coming in behind this army. I'm not sure why. I feel like that Infestor could literally ruin Clem right now. Oh! Oh, and the parasitic bombs as well. I would have preferred it ducks, but full Metavac's getting popped like crazy. Orbital goes down. SCV's getting ravaged. And as we said, the god of the low economy late game. If you don't have enough money to drop mass scans, turrets everywhere, you're running around with one ball of Bio Ghost that you need to micro perfectly. Turns out one Slug Boy popping up from below you and fungling your whole army ruins your day. Clem took a massive amount of damage. He is now so outnumbered that Solo's got a bunch of lurkers there. He could push in on the south as well. He no doubt will start doing that. He's trying to morph more Banelings. Clem is desperate on 22 workers. He knows he's got to go kill him right now. But deep on creep against Banelings, that's a scary proposition, mate. Widowmine does get a few units, but the Banelings are dangerous. Fungal not quite able to land, but look at this. He can parasitic bomb it. Oh god, the bees! Ah, the bees! Guys, it's Clem's favorite show or film, The Wicker Terran, starring Nicholas Marine Cage, and they're all screaming. As to be fair, none of them actually died to the bees, but they're now on a one-way trip. Those Vipers are going to get more energy. There is no way they ever get out of this base unless they leave right now. This is such a big problem for Mr. Clem. He's going to try to get out of there before these Vipers get more energy. On the south, the lurkers are being a problem. The Widowmine does hit the lurker, but it's not enough. A Marine can technically beat a lurker. Oh, Medevac healing's pretty slick, isn't it? I thought he'd have to dodge some spines, but he didn't have to. Clem's got a Liberator on the south, denied that base mining. Now he's doing damage up here. Clem getting these Liberators in, it's really nice. I feel like his Liberator harass is next level. Don't forget, the Liberator did get buffed. 25 gas cheaper since, I believe it was January this year. Before Katowice, Oliveira also used the Liberators very nicely to win that World Championship, but eventually Clem does tap out. Solar cannot be stopped on Solaris. All right, guys. We're going to Game 5 on site. Delta, Clem in the top left side of the map, Solar in the bottom right. Now, I've heard some people say this map is 40% win rate for Terran, so 60% for Zerg. Is that correct? Is that I just heard someone throw this stat out. I don't know if this is just ladder statistics or based off Aligulac and you know, kind of people that are playing at a pretty competitive level for the most part, the ones, you know, whose games are registered on Aligulac. I don't actually know. I do know I haven't seen that much TvZ on it since the start of the patch, which tells me people either aren't picking it or they're vetoing it, one or the other. But we are going to see it as the deciding Game 5. I don't really know how it plays out. I definitely remember seeing a lot of low ground barracks 2x Reaper damage on this map. Says 40% on Wikipedia. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really looked at the Wikipedia stats. I don't know how much those hold up. But I imagine that would be mostly based off pro matches. Still a pretty small sample size, I would imagine, this early into the map pool. Is this map bigger than the last one? I have no idea. You guys can look up the maps if you just Google Site Delta. I can't even remember what the last map was at this point. Was it Alcyon? I honestly can't remember. What happened in the last game? Bases couldn't land. There was Solaris. Yeah, I have no idea. But if you Google them, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It'll tell you the dimensions of the map. Like, it'll be like 192 by 168 or something like that, which is like how many little squares there are across the map, little tiles. So, yeah, you can look that up. Also, rush distance is usually measured ramp to ramp. It's how long a worker takes to move from the ramp to the enemy ramp. I'm not sure if it's the top, the middle, or the bottom of the ramp, but that's something which you can also see the rush distance link there. Dude, Smacker Hojo, that's very generous. Thank you so much for the support, mate. I really appreciate the love there. Thank you. All right, Reaper comes in, gets some damage. Dude, he's been consistently picking off Zerglings. Solar's been building 6 Zerglings, but he keeps losing 1 to 2 in the early game anyway, just because Clem's so good with that Reaper. Creep Tumor is going to go down on the natural. He gets it straight away, this time not getting it sniped because of the ramp on this map. Clem's like, ah, damn it, can't get up there. Can't get up there, can I, mate? Ooh, what is that? Ooh, guys, girls, ladies, gents, lads, and marines. That is a second factory hidden in the back door. That's one you're embarrassed of. That's someone you don't take home to the parents because you don't want them to find out, you know? That's, ooh. He's going for a 2 factory, probably a Cyclone Alien, which it could just be a straight Blue Flame. Knowing Clem, he will not play mech. He is not good enough with mech to trust Game 5 to mech. I believe he will swap into Bio off of it. Now, with a 2-factory opening, you can go Heavy Hellion Cyclone or Blue Flame Hellion. You can still follow up with 2-factory Widow Mine drops. You can get into double tank or tank Widow Mine production very early. There's a lot of cool things you can do with that second factory, but it massively slows down you getting up to 5 barracks production, you having lots of Marines and medevacs going around. So there's a big onus on you finding damage with this sort of build. And indeed it is Hurricane Thrusters, the Cyclone speed. And after the first few Hellions, so 4 Hellions and a Reaper, going up to 6 Hellions now. And I think he's going to be building pretty much nothing but Cyclones to go up to probably 4 to 6 Cyclones after these Hellions. Otherwise, why the hell would you bother with that speed upgrade? Hellions poking around. Queen's defending. Link speed will finish in a moment here for Solar. His creep spread's been pretty solid so far. Clem finds himself 1 creep tumor. Creep tumor on the right now spreads. Oh, good Overlord placement, allowing himself to spread those tumors up the ramp. 46 workers. It's only 4 minutes 20, and yet there's already 11 workers on the third base. These Queens trying to get down there and do some damage. Only 1 drone goes down. Overlord's going to sacrifice, and look at this, guys. Clem doesn't see it because his Marines are in the very top of his base. He now enters vision, and he moves his Marines down, but it's going to see enough. It won't know exactly what's happening, but it's like, this is a suspiciously empty main base. As a pro gamer, you see an empty main base like this, you're like, this Terran is up to no good. Another drone goes down. Evo Chamber does block. Overlord does fall. And as Solar, immediate Roach Warren makes perfect sense. He's like, yep, I don't know what's happening, but let's build a Roach Warren. Roach Warren stops most cheeky endeavors of the Terran. And now sees the Cyclones coming. So 4 Cyclones are out, 3 more, but that's going to be 7 Cyclones before going 3rd Command Center, Starport, extra barracks. So he's going to be transitioning into a bio game. After this is Clem. The Hellion Cyclone has some heavy lifting to do. A couple of Zerglings going for a counterattack. If they could get in the natural, that would be massive. But right now, Cyclone's starting to pick away at those Queens, chipping at them. Got to be careful to not run the Hellions too far in front. I like the way he keeps the Hellions back there. Oh, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Queen already going down. If the Lings try to run forward, the Hellions will deal with it. One of the Cyclones is very low, but the Queens are already getting wrecked. I think he took way too much damage there. Cyclones do deal with this as it comes forward. Those Zerglings shut down. 7 Cyclones. 2 more are building. He's going to go to 9 Cyclones. Dude, Clem hasn't lost a unit yet. Oh my lord. Clem has killed 24 units. What a good way to change up the pace in this final game. This is really putting Solar on the back foot. And don't get me wrong, Solar had an economic advantage this whole time, so he's allowed to trade worse. But 2 drones go down to the Hellions as well. Hellions dancing in and out. The Roach is getting picked off. I don't think Clem can get too much more. His army is very damaged. You don't want to throw these units away trying to force damage to happen. But look at that. He gets a few more workers there. Nicely done. Gets another Queen, another Roach up front as well. The Cyclone's doing okay versus those Zerglings on their own. Cyclones aren't too bad once they got those thrusters upgrades. But oh, he goes forward there and he's going to lose a Cyclone. But, well, gets a few more Zerglings. Not the end of the world. Meanwhile, Ling Run By gets into the base. Trying to make 1-1 upgrades is Clem. He only had enough money to start one of the upgrades. A single Stim Marine and a few SCVs actually fights really well in the main. Oh, Solar doesn't get a single SCV. That is the frustration of getting Lings in Clem's base. It's kind of like when Hero leaves his wall open. And so we joke that it's a trap sometimes because he's so good at defending with like warp-ins and probe micro that sometimes he shuts it down. That's like Clem. Every time Clem leaves his depot down, I swear half the time you get your Zerglings in, you're like, what did you succeed with? You're like, well, sir, we wasted mining time. And we scouted? What did you scout? Well, he's going bio. Yeah, we knew that before the game started. That's not exactly a revelation, is it? It's not the best piece of news. You're like, oh, we scouted the thing that we already knew was happening. It's happening. Now, that is 6 barracks, guys. So it's a bit of an odd barracks number. Normally you go 5 to 8, but it's been a weird opening, so it makes sense. Marines are coming forward. Solar has stabilized on 64 drones. He's going melee carapace. Oh, so he's gone Roach speed, but he's still going to play Ling Bane. I don't mind this. I quite like this. Oh, he's going to spend some Roaches to the left. Not enough. I think his whole army should come in from the left. That's a lot of... Yeah, the Cyclones are pretty maneuverable. Oh, Clem, careful, mate. Good Roach micro by Solar. Shutting down. You can see the Cyclone damage is not enough to really punish them for that sort of move. And really well done there by Solar to shut down a few of those bad boys. Hives on the way, Infesta, Baneling speed. And I think this is a great way actually for Solar to stabilize. He's just got to drone this 4th a bit more. I'd love to see him already up at 80 workers. His 4th is finished. You know, he's going to have to start transferring out of his main at about 8:30 is when you lose all these mineral patches. You can see he's transferring a few workers now, but he might as well have transferred the other 3 as well. something I'm critical of every pro gamer for doing. Not moving the workers preemptively. Marines come in, clear a bit of creep. The lacking creep spread up here is probably the biggest effect of this early game, where it feels like Solar's already kind of trapped in his corner of the map. Hellion Cyclone's coming in the south. Roaches take out a Hellion and a Cyclone, and they bait a Scan as well. Not to mention there's an Infestor there. I mean, you're on creep. Honestly, if the Roaches have decent numbers, they can just overwhelm those units, so you got to be very cautious. You can see here, Solar's just going to jump on it. Good reaction speed by Clem. Always so impressed by his reaction speed. If he's half a second slower, those Lings are on top. But as it is, yeah, you can't keep chasing that. Marines on the north. Watch out, Solar. Oh god, where's Solar's units? His queens are out of position. He's going to lose those queens. The Marines happy to pick off one of those. One of them somehow gets out of there. Solar's got some Banelings up to the right. He's got Baneling speed and 1-1. But remember, those Cyclones are still being a dick in the south, and Solar thought they were going to run away. So he's now sending his whole army to the south, or at least too much of it, I would say. That's a lot of Roachling to go after these units, and that means the Marines on the north could cause him big problems. I think that with the Infestor and the Banelings, though, it's pretty hard for Clem to fight, but Clem baits the Fungal out, only hits a couple of units with the tanks behind it. Dude, the way Clem dances into Fungals is truly disgusting. He always baits those Fungals out. Baneling's all hitting a siege tank right now. The Marines are deep in the red and orange hit points, and yet they still get a lot of damage. Finally, Solar breaks out. But his economy has been delayed. Only 76 workers, no gases on his fourth, no fifth. That being said, Vipers, Adrenal, 2-2 starts at the same time as Terran. They were both delayed on that. Ultra Cavern's on the way. Solar's actually making a very good position. It was a terrible start in terms of the trading, but he's closed the gap. He's only behind 1,600 resources, which is not that bad. 4,200 to 5,800. Fourth command center. Floating out for Clem. Clem's trying to come forward to the bio mine spread. He's still putting a mixture of tanks and Widow Mines, which I love. Oh, watch out for the Widow Mine, Solar. Decent Widow Mine shot, not amazing. The tank does go down. The lack of Infestors is a problem. He lost both of his Infestors. The Viper almost dies there. Good micro here by Clem. But oh, Baneling's starting to hit those units. Clem has to pick up. In the south, the Cyclone's still being a nuisance. The fourth command center accidentally did not float to position. Looks like he accidentally rallied that one somewhere else. Clem has to do a bit of a reset on his macro. Only on 6 barracks right now. Clem is going to 7 barracks. So he's still on a bit of a weird production position. Ultra's coming out. Overlord speed. Burrow. Chitinous plating. 2-2. I do love the Ultra Infestor composition, but without Infestors, I'm not as big of a fan of it. I mean, he's got Vipers, so that's something he can parasitic bomb the Medivacs and the like. And those guys are coming forward, looking for those spells. These 3 Medivacs... Is this a fake drop? What is this? Is that a misclick? Or is this actually a... What? Oh, he sent his whole army. He's added them to this army key, and he A-moved there. Okay, now he's diverting them south. I see. Binatary trying to erect on the 4th base. 5th command center trying to come up right now. Roach does deny the command center SCV. That's a very nice move for Solar. That is actually quite distracting. But, oh, Solar keeps getting caught out of position on this 4th. How many times has Solar grouped his whole army together? Solar loses his queens on the front as well. Solar was stabilized. He just lost every queen. That was every single queen. He's lost 13 queens this game. He loses the top base. That starts rebuilding. He's going to jump on top. He has an Ultra. The Banelings here as well. Widowmine gets a pretty good hit. He does clear the siege tank, but he's got to get rid of this pressure. I feel like Solar has the army to defend, and yet Clem is kind of out positioning and catching him off guard. Now it's a front-on fight. Clem is trying to just bait those Banelings off creep into Marauder Mine. Hatchery's going down in the north, but it was very slow to rebuild. 5th base, that is now a new replacement. 4th, essentially, is going to start on mining. 2-2's on the way, or is done, sorry, for both sides. Banelings do hit a few Marines. That's going to take the firepower out of the northern force. Good move for Solar. Solar's trying to rebuild 4 queens. The inability to respread creep right now is a disaster for Zerg. You always need at least 1 or 2 creep queens. The tanks and the Widow Mines causing problems. Ultras here as well, causing issues. Parasitic Bomb, the Medivacs is a good move, but he's taking big damage. Baneling's trapping his Ravages in the back as well. And this is really, these Ultras are so wounded. This is a fragile army for Solar. He needs more Ultras, he needs more Zerg. He's going for a counterattack in the north. Roaches and Banelings heading forth across the map. Who needs upgrades? Neither side focusing on that right now. It's all about the aggression. The Lings trying to get on top. The Bios started stepping out of here as hard as they can. Army moving in from the north for the counterattack. That could be the difference maker. If these Banelings find the workers, that'd be massive. Clem with a quick pullback saves some of the workers, but the Widow Mines finish them off, funnily enough. I did not expect that. The Widow Mines hitting the Overseers brought that up to 20 workers killed. Solar holds on. He stands strong. He's got queens out that are injecting. He needs to start spreading creep with them, but he's back on 5 base. He's got +3 melee on the way. If he can get Carapace, he's going to be good. He's got Infestors building right now. More Queens, more Ultras. Clem is doing what Clem does best, and that is attack. This man is saying any hole's a goal, and I'm ready to jam it in right now. My Marine Marauder will kite you to death this game. He does get a medevac with the Biles. Nice move there for Solar. Ultra, Baneling, Ravager trying to hang on. I mean, a flank could shut this down, but right now those Liberators doing big damage. I think Clem target fired the Ultralisk there as well, the beast that he is. Ultra does go down. 2 more Ultras come in. Where are the Biles? There we go. We'll take him out. An extra Liberator does go down. North side, those are Changelings. I was wondering why those Marines weren't attacking for the last few minutes. Turns out they are actually Changelings pretending to be Marines. Solar has been trading 5,000 resources in the negative, 18,700 to 13,100. But Clem's only now establishing a 5th base. If Solar could win a fight here, it would be game-changing. He's got his Burrow Boys going out, which in this sort of game could be massive. Unfortunately, he's only got 2 Ultras in the north. Oh god, oh god. If he turns to run, the Ghost will snipe him. If he stays and fights, he's going to get overwhelmed. 2 Ultras going down just like that. 12 supply of big boy space cows. Drones rallying through the battle. That is painful. Solar needs to split his army half and half right now. Half in the north, half in the south. But that's a small army on the south, which means even though he'll be able to push this back, his southern army is going to get overwhelmed. And this has been the story of this game, is not splitting his army quite as well as he needs to. He's going to overwhelm this northern side just through numbers, like I said. Oh, the Widowmine! He didn't split his Zerglings quite right. The Banelings on the south, there's too many Marauders there, and Clem's going to push forward. That's not enough units to defend, like we said. So he not only doesn't completely clear the northern army, he now sends everything south. Clem is right now forcing Solar to respond against distant attacks. Pull the whole army south, do damage in the north. Pull the army north, I'm going to do damage in the south. Clem is striking wherever Solar is weakest, and Solar simply needs to commit to the 50-50 split. If he doesn't commit to that, he's going to keep getting caught out. But Clem has the momentum, and making that decision in the heat of battle is so much easier for me to say from the sidelines than it is for Solar. Solar doesn't have the map vision. He doesn't see these armies coming. These armies are materializing out of the fog of war at his expansion, and he has no time to react. His Infestors, where are they right now? I've got to wonder where those Infestors are. He's trying to hang on the Biles landing across, but they don't land on the Liberator. The hatchery goes down here in the north. He needs to get control of this base. His Infestors nowhere to be found. And a massive Widowmine! All of his Banelings, he had a massive clump of them. They all go down. The bio does take a few big Ultra Splashies there, and he finally regains control of his base, but at what cost? He's now down 12,000 resources in the units lost time. Clem immediately redrops with his Liberator over there. Where are the Infestors? They're on the other side of the map, one of them right next to a missile turret. Solar is just in too much chaos. You can see him starting to fray at the edges. Clem has not made 3-3. He's literally, Clem just has one thing he thinks about, and it's disgusting. Zerg players are disgusted by the thought process of this Terran. This Terran just wants to get him pregnant with Marine Marauder. It's just Marine Marauder, Widowmine, Lib, in your face, micro, 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 click on your head, focus fire, focus fire. Who needs upgrades? Not Clem. Clem did make concussive this game, which is a change for him. But let's be real, as long as he keeps trading like this, it's worth it. You can point out the man forgot upgrades as if it's important. It doesn't matter. What are upgrades there for? Upgrades are there to give you long-term efficiency. Clem doesn't need that because his micro gives him short-term immediate efficiency. He's already had 12,000 resources in the units lost. Solar is just flaccid, trying to explode into this area, trying to sally forth, but he cannot push him forth because he lost those queens. So he never re-established creep. He didn't have anti-air to come out here and clear these Liberators. Every time he moves forward, he's getting baited into Lib Mine. He can't clean them up, and then Clem just returns and forces the exact same fight over and over again. How does Solar get out here? Without mobile anti-air, I don't know if there's a way. He's trying to make Ravages, but they're trapping his units in his mineral line, and Clem is trading disgustingly well while taking a 6th base behind it. He's keeping Solar on 5 base. He's taking a 6th. The Fungals finally coming in here, but it's too little too late. The Banelings and the Ultras try to connect. The Medevacs pick up, and he says, nah, I'm just going to unload over here. The same thing I've done the last five times in a row. I'm going to do it again. A single Marine and a Marauder being what I would call a literal pain in the arse in the south. And that is a big issue. Of course, Solar never got +3 carapace either, but man, it's these Liberators that really are the problem. Finally, Biles one down, but look at that. Liberators rotating behind the 3rd as well. Oh, this is so frustrating for Solar to deal with. He just doesn't have enough Biles to get this. He Biles his own Overseer down. Funnily enough, Queen finally cleans that one up. Drop in the bottom did get cleaned up. Clem is just shoving the top. He's making a fusion core. He's making so many liberators because he has 13 medevacs. And once he gets those medevacs out, it's nothing but libs. He's going to get the lib range and the medevac energy upgrade once he gets that fusion core up. More units getting picked off. The libs are facing the southern direction. Army is kind of to the top right, up to the east, I guess, is that direction. I'm good with me cardinal directions, guys. Definitely don't have to stop and consciously think about it. Liberator does get taken out by that pile, so 2 of them do go down. Solar's hanging on like a champion, but it just doesn't matter. There's been too much negative trading for too long. His numbers are dipping. The man is microing quite well, but he's finding himself in an impossible situation. The ghost snipes, the widow mines. It's like he's chasing him through a field full of rakes. Every time he steps on the head of one of those rake heads obscured in the tall grass, the haft swings up, smacks him in the nose, breaks his nose, and he just feels the pain and the pain and the pain. And it all came down to losing those queens. What a fantastic game. I want to go back a few minutes and see where things spiraled, because I definitely feel there was a moment where those queens died, and that had to be the real difference maker, didn't it? I mean, he'd lost a lot of queens already in this game. This was about 12 minutes, was it? Yeah. He only had 5 queens, and then these queens all kind of just accidentally derp in thinking they're chasing a dropship or maybe trying to respread creep, and losing those queens there meant no respread on the creep, no anti-air, a massive amount of minerals. I actually thought Solar was in a pretty decent position at this point. And the thing is, he got out like the infestors and stuff, but he never brought those around to flank these armies. And I just feel like Clem was so irritating with the way he set up these fights. At some point, Solar needed to just push this army back, overwhelm it. And to do that, he probably needed to come around from the north, but there was tanks and widow mines making that awkward. And every time he did it, he's like, well, to do that, I need to bring my whole army together. So basically, Clem got so in his face and made it feel like Solar couldn't win unless he had overwhelming numbers. Solar responded to this by pulling everything together. He'd push him back, but Clem would just pick up and get out of there, and then the army would push in on the other side and find big damage. And then Solar got stuck pulling his whole army from side to side and losing fight after fight. And it was a slippery slope from there because, you know, at this point, the units lost tab was not that terrible, but there was a point there where it just got crazy. You know, it went from 18,000 to 30,000 difference. It was insane. Really beautiful micro by Clem. And I think this is a classic example of him ignoring upgrades, ignoring flawless macro, but using just raw, overwhelming micro and aggression to really put his opponent on the back foot and force positive trades, even when there shouldn't really be the opportunity. The opponent's got Vipers, Ravages, Banelings, and Ultras. You think that would be enough? Not against Clem. GG, well played. Clem wins his round of 8 match in a nail biter.